Hi everyone, Sanythe here, and I want to talk about COD Zombies. Specifically, I want to talk about what made Cold War so average. And don't get me wrong, I loved Cold War and I grinded every single weapon released to max level and even unlocked Dark Ether on it, purely on zombies. However, even with that, actually especially with that, I feel very strongly about how Cold War wasn't very replayable, and I know a lot of the time people blame the maps, but I strongly disagree on that aspect. While yes, the maps are more thematically mundane, I blame the loadout system, and I'll go more into that shortly. And I also want to talk about things I hope Black Ops 6 does. I want to start by talking about how I believe that being able to choose your starting weapon has negatively impacted the zombies formula. From my point of view, it completely removed the aspect of getting set up, or at least greatly reduced the sense of in-game progression. Because unless you're specifically going for around 100 something, you really don't ever need the wonder weapon, so you just end up sticking to the weapon you started with, but just upgrading that, which feels like a much less rewarding kind of progression. And not only that, it single-handedly removes so much RNG that makes every game of zombies feel different. I almost never hit the mystery box unless I'm going for around 100, and even then, I usually don't hit the box for around 30, or if I want the wonder weapon, I just do the trials. And it's not even like you have any actual objectives in-game to get set up either. There's no shield to build, there's no special ability to unlock, and there's nothing that changes between each game of zombies. And on top of that, after going through every single weapon completed, with all 5,000 kills needed for each and getting them all max level with all camos, I still could not tell you which ones were the best aside from the Howler and the Gallo. And I honestly really hope that they remove being able to choose your starting weapon and just somehow make the camo grind different. Like maybe having a loadout you can buy or unlock by doing something in-game. Or just making it so the main way to grind the camo is the outbreak mode that they're going to inevitably add to the game. And I would absolutely love if they added the BO3 weapon kit system instead of loadouts too, because I kind of hated the whole aspect of pausing to apply my blueprint. In concept, it's really cool, but in practice, even though it's only like 5 seconds of pausing and applying, it's just a super strong feeling of disconnect from the gameplay itself. And if they're keen on keeping that in, then I think an in-map way to do it, like between rounds you go to a station and apply it somehow, like paying points in order to apply a pre-selected blueprint you made, or something like that. It's a minor nitpick, but it's something that really messed with the gameplay loop for me. Next, I want to talk about how awful the weapon Rarity System is. While it's really cool at first, it really wore me down that I was just shooting the exact same gun the entire game with zero reason to swap. My weapon was getting stronger and I could see that I was doing more damage, but it still kept that loop of monotony with no feeling of progression even though I was getting stronger in game. The Rarity System also just makes it extremely pointless to spin the box early game, like I would in BO2 or BO3, because of you're guaranteed to get like a green weapon, which your weapon's probably already going to be better by then. And by the time I'm getting weapons that would be a better rarity, I've already invested enough into my weapon where it feels like a waste, and I'm like, oh, I wasted all the salvage upgrading it, why would I get rid of it when I know it's already a good build? It's just kind of stupid and I don't like it. And while grinding for camos, I noticed a very consistent progression that was happening kind of unconsciously, but by round 20 you could easily have a purple weapon when starting at red rarity, and have a legendary weapon by round 30 pretty easily. The issue I have with this is that it just doesn't feel really rewarding to get a weapon to legendary. It just kind of happens in the background. I think that's why casuals really love this game, because they don't really have to focus into that. They can just focus on shooting zombies, then exfil when they're bored, and go back to playing MP or whatever else. I also want to quick off the fly talk about the exfil system. I love that it's in the game. I think it's one of the coolest things ever. It makes it so I don't have to feel like, oh, well, I'm bored, let me just hold a grenade or down myself or whatever, and it actually feels like, okay, that was a complete game of zombies, which is really nice. Really love that. I hope they keep it in. Now, back to the Rarity System, it also just made weapons less interesting. In Black Ops 1, I'd spin the box and get the commando or something, and I'd be ecstatic about it and stick with it. In Cold War, I spin the box and... Actually, no, I don't. I rarely spin the box in Cold War. I think I've actually only ever spun it out of sheer boredom or because I needed the wonder weapon for the Easter egg or around 100 one or whatever the hell it is. And quickly on the topic of wonder weapons, I want more dope wonder weapons. Cold War had some amazing wonder weapons with the Shockwave and its variants. Even though they weren't all super strong, they were really cool and fun to use. And the AK was even kind of dope, but it was kind of boring because it was just, full auto ray gun, but they were just normal bullets that were, I don't know, pew pew. But the secondary fire made it pretty cool, and combining them together to make it a really strong explosion, I liked that a lot when it worked. The Cerberus was also amazing. It was simple, it was clean, and probably my favorite weapon in Cold War. It was also really strong, which is really nice. The Chrysalax in Forsaken was also insanely dope. It's a melee weapon that transformed into a gun. It's dope as hell. And I also really liked that the ray gun was really strong in this game, and I loved the fact that most of the time, round 100 shots involved a wonder weapon of some sort. Like Mauer with the Cerberus, Firebase C with the Ray K, Forsaken and D Machine with the ray gun. Though round 100 was possible with normal guns, it was just a lot more tedious. But still, I like that the wonder weapons were actually wonder weapons, you know? Now I want to talk about the maps and how their designs affected the gameplay loop. Because while I do believe that the maps weren't the reason for the game being boring on repeat plays, they definitely still had some part in it at least. I also want to preface that the ranking of these maps go in this order: Mauer, D-Machine, Forsaken, and Firebase C. Now, if we're going by purely Easter eggs and not the map layout at all, then Mauer, Forsaken, D-Machine, and Firebase C. I will not be hearing any other opinions. Unless you want to comment and give me engagement, in which case do that. But if you're going to be mean, then shut up. For starters, I think Forsaken has by far the weakest layout. The spawn area and the tunnel area where you fight the Abomination are easily the best aspects of the map, and even the pack punch room is really cool. However, the two big playable areas feel very identical and boring. One of the areas is just a bunch of big buildings which act as lanes, and the other is pretty much the same, but with a main road in the center. Another issue with that is that those kind of lanes on the side feel like they're directly meant to lead you straight to the next teleporter to go to the next area. And I don't like that most of that map feels like it's only there to lead you to the next location. It's just got a really meh feeling to it, you know? Firebase C is better, but it's still just kind of boring, at least design-wise. I loved it on launch when you could do the little jump and onto the patio as a door skip, and I absolutely despise the fact that they patched that out. Like, it's a single door you bypass, and somehow that warranted being removed. The spawn room is, in general, pretty good. This is the primary area where I would play when I was actually playing on the map and I was camo grinding, and the rest of the map is pretty lackluster. The main hub area with the challenge trials and all that is pretty nice when you have all the other doors shut, but it gets ruined really quickly as soon as you open one door. And aside from that, the 3 lanes also feel like just a path for assault wave areas. I think they were trying to replicate Origins in this way, different areas with generators at the end, but I think they replicated it very poorly as it feels much more claustrophobic and unfun to play in this map. Overall, it's a pretty average design, and I think that statement alone is very prominent in this game. D-Machine actually had the second best design in my opinion. I mean, my favorite memory on release was, camping on the catwalk on trees. But for real, the plane wing was the first spot me and my friends really played in at all. We kind of just camped at the top and yapped while killing zombies, and it felt nice, It was a pretty chill gameplay experience, and I really enjoyed it. But yeah, I got sidetracked. Overall, the design of D-Machine is really solid, and I don't really have anything negative to say about it. Speaking of solid designs, we have the best Cold War map with Mauer der Toten. This map has the best atmosphere and actually is in my top 10 maps overall. Actually, make video on 10 best maps. Kino der Toten. Now, the colors on this map really give me a heavy Black Ops 1 vibe. And funnily enough, I actually think that this map and D-Machine, although being the best maps in Cold War, have the weakest starting rooms. And I'm speaking purely from a very early game's perspective, like round 1, 2, all that, because on the other maps, the spawns feel much quicker and more concise, whereas in Mauer and D-Machine, they're a lot slower feeling. However, it's still not a bad starting room, and the rest of the map flows incredibly well. You have the main street acting as its own kind of little training spot, and the pack punch side, which if you leave the door shut, works amazingly as its own little area, and it doesn't intercept the main street at all. And even if you do open it, rather than making it feel like another spot to watch out for zombies coming in, it feels more like an extra bit of space to train. And I almost forgot, why are there no traps in Cold War? I can't think of a single trap in Cold War. I don't think there were any. I loved the traps in the zombies maps. They were cool and creative as hell. The flogger, or the plane blades on Zetsu, or even the simple electric traps. They were sick as hell. It's small, but I hope we get traps back in the next zombies game. I mean, it's not a deal breaker if we don't, but still, I think it'd be nice. Although, I do want to say that even with all that, this game was just not built for training. Ring of Fire was such a dominant field upgrade that unless you were speedrunning or doing the Easter egg on a map, then 9 times out of 10, you would still be running Ring of Fire. Which is actually why I'm so glad they removed it in the later games. I loved Ring of Fire, but it was just outshone the other field upgrades way too much, and that sucked because none of them were even that bad. I even really like Tesla Storm a lot, and it's what I almost exclusively run in MW3. Not because it's better, but because it's what fits my reckless playstyle a lot more. And I see people running Healing Aura, or Ether Shroud, or even Cryo Blast, or whatever the hell it is, in MW3. That was just a short statement on why Ring of Fire had a small negative impact on the game. It was still a really cool field upgrade, but, yeah. Also, quick, one thing I wanted to mention. Make it till we have to build the field upgrade. Why do we start with it? Why do we start with such an overpowered thing? Make it so, like, we start with, like, one that we choose that's, like, set to our loadout or whatever the hell if you keep loadouts in. And we have to craft, like, the handle or the holder. Or that we choose it in-game by crafting specific ones or something like that. That'd be sick. It also would add to the progression feeling. And the final thing I'm going to add to this kind of random section is the Wonder Fizz. I'm not sure how I feel about it. It's extremely convenient, but it existing removes the need to hit any perk machines at all. I don't know how often I've actually ever gone to buy Jug from the actual Juggernaut machine. And while obviously having a perk machine for every single perk on the map isn't feasible, nor does it look good at all because it's just a lot of cluster, I do think I prefer the old Wonder Fizz machine from Origins or any BO3 map. Especially now that perk limits are gone. You no longer have to spend 15,000 points just to see Deadshot Daiquiri pop up 10 times in a row. Like, can you honestly right now tell me where Juggernog is on Mauer or Toten on something with 100% certainty? I barely remember, and I played a ton of Mauer like 2 weeks ago. And I only hopped on Cold War recently because I remembered I still had like 3 DLC guns to unlock. Oh, and also, I want to quick mention, the armor system, though I initially was put off by it, it fixed the issue with choosing specific perks, which is the reason why Jug was taken out of BO4. Really stupid, by the way. And I barely even get Juggernog at all in MW3 Zombies or even Cold War. It's one of the later perks I get in Cold War, actually. And I actually even find Quick Revive more useful now with the better healing. Anyways, on the topic of unlocking guns, for unlocking DLC guns post-launch, don't make the challenge some bullshit like, destroy 12 Ether Orbs in Outbreak with a melee weapon. Because that shit's ass. That's just so stupid. That is legitimately how you would unlock the Hammer and Sickle in Cold War Zombies. It was stupid. And if you wanted to go and do it in multiplayer, you have to do it in 15 different matches. My brother in Christ, I don't like multiplayer. I do not care for multiplayer. I'll play it like every now and then with my group of friends. But aside from that, I am not touching that shit. In summary, Cold War just didn't have enough RNG to make the match feel unique. And the maps just weren't strong enough to carry that flaw. Even Mauer to Toten, as good as it was. Now, lastly, I want to talk about things I hope for in Black Ops 6 Zombies. So far, what we know is that there are Gobblegums, pretty much 100% confirmed via the Vault Edition leak, and alongside that, Operator skins are very likely as the other leaks that showed the specific Klaus and Brutus skin. Also, MW3 Zombies had some beautiful cutscenes. Please keep that level of quality in. Please. They looked really good. Now, to start, I hope there's a main cast we play as, and ideally we can mesh it with the Operator system. Like, make it so that the main crew are part of the operators you can play as. Like, let's say they're the cast of, like, 30 operators or whatever the fuck it is. And you have 4 in there that specifically are made and from the zombie storyline. Give them skins and all that. And if you want to play round-based maps as your own character, then make it so you don't get your bullshit dialogue from fucking radio systems. Like, I don't care. I don't give a shit about some random-ass radio. Roger, you see, the issue is... Like, shut up. Shut up. And if you want to play the round-based map as those specific 4 characters, give us actual personality-based quotes and stuff like that. But please, just... I want a group of people that care somewhat about... And make the characters interact with each other. Something like that. I'm tired of hearing the same exact dialogue and quotes on each map I play. It's like... I'm bored of it. At this point, I don't even listen to the map when I'm playing. I have a random YouTube video playing on the side. Like, you think I want to load up a map and just hear some annoying ass radio dialogue every 5 minutes or every time I enter a certain section of the map? I think I want to hear some. Or additionally, just make it so that when you start your first few games, you play as the main cast, and after you complete the main Easter egg or something like that, then on later playthroughs of that map, you can play as your own operator. Make it an unlockable thing. Give me a reason to play more zombies. I want it. And holy shit, they're going to make me say something good about Vanguard. Now, Vanguard did one thing that I actually really liked. The 4 field upgrade gods, or whatever the hell they were. Although they were a little annoying, I think they worked pretty well as a substitute for the main cast. They were a constant in each game, and I believe, as long as you had someone in the game with a corresponding field upgrade, that they had different personalities and they actually interact with each other, as opposed to just simply existing in the same game. I'm actually not 100% sure about that last part, but do something like that, please. Like, come on. And next, don't give us the elixir system from BO4. That shit was butt. Give us the cute little fucking machine where the lion head pops out my gum. It's another aspect of RNG that can really impact how your match starts or plays out, and it mixes things up. And also, please make it less tedious to unlock whatever currencies used to unlock them. Like, give me 1 liquid divinium on round 10, and 2 on 20, and 3 on 30, and then it's 3 every 10 rounds until the game ends, or something similar to how you unlock the ether crystals in Cold War. I think that would be really dope. Also, please give us new perks. I love the old ones, but I want to see some new shit. I want to see a perk that makes it so you like and subscribe since we're reaching the end of the video, or one that makes it so every bullet you shoot is actually 2 bullets. If only there was a perk like that existed. Last thing I want to add is that I want the old point system back. The fact that I'm pretty much guaranteed to end each early round with the same amount of points is crazy to me. Like, this is after round 1 on D-Machine. Again, in a different match of D-Machine. And this is after round 1 on Origins. And now, round 1 on another match of Origins. You see the difference? I want to have that option of mid-maxing to give myself a little head start. I want to join a public lobby and hear someone with a shitty mic say, "Shoot them in the legs before knifing them," or some silly shit like that. I think that's actually the bulk of everything I wanted to talk about. There's probably more I missed, but if I forgot it, it probably wasn't important. Let me know what you all think. Once again, please be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Have a great rest of your day, and adios.